I think one of the slow-moving things happening right now in the polycrisis is that the world is just becoming too complex. The complexity is becoming too expensive to support. If you look at Nate Hagen's work, oil's prices are going up. Shipping stuff around the world is difficult. Governments, our local fire department doesn't have the ability to support everybody in an emergency. They just don't have the capacity. That's true around communities or across the United States.
Which they've said to you. In other words, this isn't a criticism of them in our conversations, because you talk to our first responders. They've said, we can't
That's right.
take care of everybody.
One of their central goals is to support local resilience by supporting community-facing organizations like Commonweal to be able to do that. That's absolutely true. And so when you engage some of these systems thinkers that are in our community, oftentimes what you hear is that given all this analysis and complexity and all of these things, some of the things that seem to be emerging is more simple practices, simplicity, less reliance on complex international supply chains. How can we think about resourcing ourselves from our local community, from our local land, from our local area? How can we try and rely on less complex technology to communicate far distances? What happens, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So as this system is unfolding, there are other dynamics at play that we're all well aware of. Fires are increasing. California is overdue for a long earthquake. The financial debt overhang still exists, et cetera. All of these things would be here despite what happened today. And I want to say that there is huge potential for all of us to take agency in order to prepare and think about resilience in the domains that we can affect in the 3 feet around us. And I mean, this is very physical examples, right? Do you have a go bag? Do you have water? All those sorts of things. But I think another layer of that, which is also as critical, is the deep, meaningful human relationships that we have in our lives here, in our families, and in our communities, and in our bioregions, and in our counties. How do we foster those relationships to be able to support each other when we need to? If you have a go bag and your neighbor does not, you might actually be able to help somebody in an emergency situation. If you have a community that you can go and you can talk to on a day that was particularly emotionally fraught, you can feel heard, you can share, you can support each other. So there's all of these different dimensions that I feel like that we can have agency and make meaningful impact in our daily lives inside of this larger context that we're living in.